everybody. I'm Chad, and thanks for checking out my project here. You know, I find myself in a very interesting situation. I never really saw myself sitting here doing this, doing what I'm doing now, but it's where I find myself. It started a few years ago, I guess, just managing the manure that was produced on the property that I live on, and composting that and putting it to use in my own garden, and growing good food for my family and for the people around me, and I enjoy doing that. And I started looking around and I started seeing all this waste. Livestock waste, manures, agricultural waste, food waste, all this waste being taken out of the picture, sitting, rotting, or just going to a landfill and, well, just going to a landfill. And in the meantime, we're having these conversations about sustainability and local food and reducing our carbon footprint. And a lot of us are trying to grow our own food. And so what do? Well, a few of us may do some small composting in our backyard, and in a year we end up with a few gallons of compost. Very good. And I encourage more people to do that. But most of us just go to a garden center or nursery or hardware store or someplace and buy some potting soil or some topsoil or compost or whatever soil amendment we think is best. But the problem with these products is it's somebody else's waste that got put on a truck states away, hundreds, potentially thousands of miles away, and shipped into us to put in the ground. When at the same time, we have these same waste, tons, just going to waste. So I thought maybe I'd do something about it. But I always had a couple problems. Location. Where am I going to do something like this? It takes a pretty big amount of land to do a lot of composting on. I've been doing it inside of maybe 400 square feet, that corner of my property. It's fine, lets me manage what we create, and I can deal with that. But I want to make it bigger, and I always wanted to make it bigger. So I needed someplace. So then last summer the phone rings. Here's this opportunity to take over an amazing small market garden startup at the old Blossoms Nursery, the Blossoms and Sprouts Farm. And I did, so here I am. I find myself on this incredible piece of property, 3.5 acres, retail greenhouses, some high tunnels, a store, bays and bins that at one time held bulk landscape materials, mulches and composts, trucked in from somewhere else, and that's the paradigm that I'm trying to get away from. So we're doing great things down here, growing good food, and actually have paperwork in for organic certification on starts and seedlings so people can grow their own food. But rather than them going to the hardware store or some other nursery center and buying compost or potting soil, why don't we use what we have here? And so that's where I'm at. I've got the location to do it now. I'm down to equipment, and that's why I'm sitting here talking into this camera feeling like a fool. I need to raise an enormous amount of capital in order to make this happen. So if you would, take a few more minutes, read down the page, see what it is that I've been doing, the products that I've been producing. I've got some pictures. I'm a pudding kind of guy. The proof's in it. So I've got some pudding kind of pictures for you to take a look at. And if you don't mind, at the end, make a small contribution. If you're local, we'll be glad to get you some of our products into your hands. If you're not local and from somewhere around the world, we're just going to pool outside contributions together, and I'm going to go around to schools, nonprofits, homeless shelters, things like that. We're going to build garden beds, plant them so they can grow food, get kids excited, and feed people who have trouble feeding themselves. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. Thanks a lot, guys, and thanks for your support.